What if that jungle of a yard you've been avoiding, the one so overgrown you're honestly not sure what's actually buried under all those weeds and wild growth, wasn't a hopeless mess at all, but a genuine blank canvas hiding a beautiful garden that's just waiting for you to uncover it? Stick with me, because, by the end of this, you're going to know exactly how to reclaim an overgrown yard, step by step, and how to care for everything that emerges so your new garden actually thrives, instead of reverting right back to chaos. If you've ever inherited an overgrown property, moved into a house with a neglected yard, or simply let your own garden slip out of control over a busy season or two, I want you to know that the situation is genuinely more fixable than it looks. Standing at the back door, feeling overwhelmed. Overgrown yards look intimidating precisely because everything is tangled together and visually chaotic. But underneath that mess is almost always a manageable set of individual problems: weeds, overgrown shrubs, dead or struggling plants, compacted soil, that can each be addressed one at a time using a genuinely clear, step-by-step process. Across the United States, this kind of yard reclamation project has become a genuinely popular before and after story, precisely because the transformation is so visually dramatic, and because it's honestly more achievable for a beginner than most people initially assume. Let's start with the very first step, which isn't cutting anything at all. It's assessing what you're actually working with. Before you clear a single weed, walk your entire yard slowly and take stock. Some of that overgrowth is likely genuinely valuable: an established perennial hiding beneath weeds, a mature shrub that just needs pruning rather than removal, a tree that could anchor your entire redesign once it's properly cleared around. Take photos as you go, and consider marking healthy-looking plants you want to keep with a bit of string or a stake, so they don't accidentally get cleared away during the more aggressive early cleanup phases. This assessment step genuinely saves you significant time and money later, since working with existing established plants, rather than starting from scratch entirely, is almost always faster and cheaper than replacing everything. Once you've assessed your space, tackle the actual clearing in phases, rather than trying to conquer the entire yard in a single, overwhelming weekend. Start with the most invasive, fastest spreading weeds and unwanted growth first, since these are actively competing with and choking out anything more desirable. A weed whacker or brush cutter handles thick, overgrown weedy areas far more efficiently than hand pulling for this initial pass. Once the worst of the weedy overgrowth is cleared, move on to assessing your shrubs and larger plants individually. Many overgrown shrubs that look genuinely hopeless respond remarkably well to hard pruning, cutting back significantly in late winter or early spring, and rebounding with fresh, healthy growth within a single season. So don't assume everything overgrown needs to be dug out and replaced. Reserve full removal for plants that are genuinely dead, diseased beyond recovery, or growing in a location that simply doesn't work for your new plan. Before diving into the physical clearing work, it's worth spending a few minutes thinking through tools and basic safety, since overgrown yards often hide more than just plants. Wear thick gloves and long sleeves regardless of the season. Thorny overgrowth, hidden debris, and even stinging insect nests can lurk unseen within dense, untouched growth. A sturdy pair of loppers handle thicker branches that hand pruners can't manage, while a weed whacker or brush cutter genuinely earns its cost for anyone tackling a yard with more than a small patch of overgrowth. Hand pulling alone across a genuinely overgrown space is exhausting and often far less efficient than a properly powered tool. Before you start cutting anything back, walk the area slowly and check for hidden hazards. Old buried debris, uneven ground, uncovered drainage grates, or unexpected holes are all genuinely common discoveries in a yard that hasn't been actively maintained in some time, and identifying them before you're deep in the clearing process, rather than stumbling onto them mid-task, makes the entire project noticeably safer. It's also genuinely worth sketching out a rough design plan before you get too far into clearing. Even a simple one, rather than clearing everything first and figuring out your layout afterward. Walk your assessed yard and think through basic zones. Where might a seating area make sense? Which section gets the most reliable sun? For a vegetable bed, where would a simple path naturally connect two areas people actually walk between? This doesn't need to be an elaborate, professionally rendered plan. A few notes and a rough sketch on paper genuinely suffice, but having even a loose sense of direction prevents the common beginner mistake of clearing indiscriminately, and then feeling stuck, trying to retrofit a design onto an already cleared blank space. Working with your existing kept plants as natural anchors for this rough plan, letting that mature lilac or established perennial bed inform where your new plantings and pathways go, genuinely speeds up the design process while making finishes that garden feel cohesive rather than randomly assembled. Once your soil situation and rough plan are in place, timing your actual planting phases matters just as much in a reclamation project as it would in any fresh garden build. Spread your new plantings across a couple of sessions during your region's mild spring or fall windows, rather than trying to fill every newly cleared bed in a single afternoon. This staggered approach not only spreads out the physical labor involved, it also gives you the chance to observe how your newly revealed light and soil conditions actually perform before committing your entire remaining budget and plant selection to a single planting day, with your yard cleared down to a genuinely workable state. It's time to address the soil itself, since years of neglect often leave soil compacted and depleted regardless of how healthy it might have looked from a distance under all that overgrowth. Work a generous layer of compost into any areas where you're planning new plantings. And if your soil seems particularly compacted, a core aerator or even simple hand digging in key planting areas helps restore the air and water movement that healthy root systems genuinely depend on. This is also the ideal moment to test your soil's pH and nutrient levels using a simple home test kit, since years of neglect can shift soil chemistry in ways that quietly undermine even the best subsequent planting choices if left unaddressed. Now let's talk about light and temperature, because reclaiming an overgrown yard often reveals genuinely different growing conditions than you might expect once everything is finally cleared. Overgrown areas frequently create unexpected shade patterns. A section that seemed shady under all that overgrowth might actually receive full sun once cleared, while another spot might turn out shadier than anticipated once a large shrub you're keeping fills back in with healthy growth. Spend a few days observing your newly cleared space before finalizing your planting plan. Most flowering plants and vegetables need 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight daily, and matching your new plant choices to your yard's actual, newly revealed light conditions prevents the frustration of plants struggling in a spot that looked promising before clearing, but turns out poorly suited afterward. As for temperature, most common garden plants thrive somewhere between 60 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and timing your major planting phases for the moderate stretches of spring or fall, rather than the height of summer heat, gives newly installed plants a genuinely better chance to establish without the added stress of extreme temperatures working against them. During this already vulnerable transition period, there's genuinely interesting scientific research behind why this whole reclamation process affects both your garden and your own well-being so significantly. Studies on soil ecology have shown that even severely compacted or depleted soil retains significant biological potential. Beneficial soil microbes and fungal networks often persist in a dormant or reduced state, rather than disappearing entirely, meaning that reclaimed soil, once properly aerated and amended with organic matter, frequently rebounds to genuine health faster than many beginners expect, rather than requiring years of rebuilding from an entirely blank biological slate. On the human side, research in environmental psychology has specifically examined the psychological impact of transforming a neglected or chaotic space. Studies on restorative environments have found that actively participating in reclaiming and organizing a previously overwhelming space produces a particularly strong sense of accomplishment and control, often more pronounced than simply maintaining an already tidy space, which helps explain why so many people who tackle an overgrown yard reclamation project describe it as genuinely one of the most satisfying home projects they've ever undertaken. The visible before and after contrast provides a powerful, tangible measure of your own effort and progress. Watering correctly during and after your reclamation genuinely determines whether your newly planted areas actually establish successfully. Newly planted or transplanted material needs consistent moisture during its first several weeks. Check soil moisture by pressing a finger about 2 inches into the soil, watering deeply whenever it feels dry, rather than sticking to a fixed schedule. For any established plants you kept and pruned back hard, consistent watering during their recovery period genuinely supports the vigorous new growth you're hoping to see. A hard pruned shrub investing energy into regrowth has increased water needs during that specific recovery window compared to its normal maintenance requirements. Water at the base of your plants rather than overhead, and water early in the morning whenever possible, giving your plants time to absorb moisture before the heat of the day. Accelerates evaporation. Fertilizing and pruning both play a significant role in your reclaimed yard's transition from cleared chaos to genuinely thriving garden. Work compost into your soil generously at the start of this process, and follow up with a balanced fertilizer for both new plantings and recovering existing plants. Once they show clear signs of active new growth, avoid fertilizing immediately after hard pruning or transplanting, giving stressed plants a couple of weeks to stabilize before adding fertilizer into the mix. Pruning remains an ongoing part of the reclamation story. Well beyond that initial hard cutback, regularly shaping recovering shrubs as they regrow helps establish the form you actually want going forward, rather than letting them simply regrow into the same overgrown shape that caused the problem in the first place. And staying consistent with this follow-up pruning in the following 1 to 2 seasons is genuinely what locks in your transformation long-term, rather than watching your hard work slowly revert. Even with careful planning, beginners occasionally run into a few common problems during a yard reclamation project, so let's troubleshoot the most frequent ones. If a hard pruned shrub doesn't show new growth within a reasonable timeframe for its species, gently scratch a small section of bark with your fingernail. Green tissue underneath indicates the plant is still alive and simply taking longer to rebound, while brown, dry tissue throughout suggests that particular section, or possibly the entire plant, has genuinely died and should be removed. If weeds seem to be returning aggressively despite your initial clearing efforts, this is genuinely normal. Dormant weed seeds in disturbed soil often germinate in waves following clearing work. A thick layer of mulch across cleared areas significantly reduces this regrowth by blocking light to newly germinating weed seeds. If your soil still seems poor, despite adding compost, it's worth getting a proper soil test done, since some genuinely depleted soils benefit from more targeted amendments than a simple compost application alone can provide. And if you feel overwhelmed partway through the project, remember that a phased approach, tackling one section of your yard at a time, rather than the entire space at once, genuinely makes even the most severely overgrown yard manageable. There's no rule requiring you to complete an entire reclamation in a single season. What makes transforming an overgrown yard such a genuinely rewarding project for beginners is the sheer scale of visible, dramatic change available. Few other gardening projects offer such a stark, satisfying before and after contrast, and the process itself teaches you an enormous amount about your specific yard's soil, light, and existing plants along the way, knowledge that genuinely benefits every gardening decision you make going forward. What looks like an overwhelming, hopeless mess from your back door is almost always a series of individually manageable steps waiting to be tackled one at a time. So step outside, take a slow walk through that overgrown space, and start your assessment today. Mark what's worth keeping, plan your clearing phases, and remember that every beautiful, thriving garden you've ever admired started somewhere. And plenty of them started exactly where you're standing right now, in the middle of genuine, hopeful-looking chaos. If you love learning about seasonal flowering plants, vegetables, gardening tips, and nature care, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Nature Nurture Hub, your home for year-round garden inspiration. Let's keep growing together.